Hello everyone, welcome to the screencast videos for CHY 103 or General Chemistry. I am Riyasad and I'm here to help you with the basics of chemistry. To start off, let's have a look at how to balance equations. Usually we follow the trial by error methods to figure out whether a reaction is balanced or not. However, the methods can be very consuming and stressful. In this video, we are going to be balancing equations with a mathematical approach, which not only saves time, but is also easy to follow and works with every single type of questions that are related to balancing equations. Let's have a look at the equation given in the example here. We have PCl5 and H2O reacting to give H3PO4 and HCl respectively. The first thing we have to do with the example here is that we rewrite the equation so that we can set random variables to them. So first we have PCl5 reacting with water to give H3PO4 and HCl. Now that we have our equation, we can set random variables to them. So let's say PCl5 has A assigned to it, H2O, B, H3PO4 has C, and HCl has D. Next, we list the elements we have on both sides of the equation. So for this equation, we have phosphorus, we have chlorine, we have hydrogen, and we have oxygen. Now that we have the elements from the reaction, we can create equations for each element. How we do this is by looking at the moles of the elements in the compounds they are located in the reactants, and multiplying that with the random variable assigned. So if we have PCl5 on one side of a reaction with the random variable A, which is over here, we will have 5 moles of Cl and 1 mole of P to give PCl5. And hence, we can easily assume that for the element P, we have 1A, and for the element C, we have 5A. Once we have that, we look for the same elements on the products and follow the same method with variables they are assigned with. And this allows us to create equations. So, in the case of phosphorus here, we have 1 phosphorus on the left side of the equation, so we will have A, or 1A. This will be equal to the phosphorus on the right side of the equation on H3PO4, which is also 1 phosphorus, so we will have C. That's our first equation. Similarly, we will have 5 chlorine, as you can see on the left side of the equation. So we will have 5A. On the right side of the equation, we have 1 chlorine, so we can say 1D, or just D. For hydrogen, we have 2 hydrogens on water, and we have the variable B assigned to water, so we can say that we have 2B equal to 3C, because we have H3PO4 and there's 3 hydrogens in H3PO4. Now if you look carefully, there's 2 H's on the right side of the equation. One is with H3PO4, the other is with HCl. We have the H3PO4 down, but now we need to add in the HCl's H. So we will have plus D, because there's just 1 H on the HCl on the right side of the equation. Next, we move on to oxygen. So we have 1 oxygen on the left side of the equation with water. So we can write B is equal to 4 oxygen, once again, on the right side of the equation with H3PO4. So we will say 4C. Next, We set one of the variables here to be equal to 1. So let's say a is equal to 1. We know that a is equal to c, and we already know that a is equal to 1 because we set it as 1. Hence, we can say that c is equal to 1 because a equal to c. Now we move on to the next equation with chlorine. We have 5a equal to d, and we know that a is equal to 1 because we already set it as 1. So let's rewrite the equation on the right side. We have 5a equal to d, which is the same as d equal to 5a. Since a equal to 1, we can say that d equal to 5 times 1, which will give us 5. Therefore, d is equal to 5. Now that we found a, c, and d, we only have b left to find. So we can use either of the two equations. We have 2b equal to 3c plus d, and we also have b equal to 4c. So if we use any one of these equations, we'll find our last variable, and we can use the other equation to either double check, or if we don't have enough time, we can just skip it. So let's go with the harder equation for now. Let's go with 2b equal to 3c plus d. Since 2b equal to 3c plus d, we can divide both sides of the equation by 2, which will give us b equal to 3c plus d over 2. Since we know that c is equal to 1 and d is equal to 5, we can plug that in into this equation to get b equal to 3 times 1 plus 5 over 2. That would give us a total of 4. Now that we have a, b, c, and d for our variables, we can place them back into the equation instead of the variables. So we will have, for PCl5, instead of a, we can put back 1. For H2O, for B, we can put 4. For C, we have 1 for H3PO4. And for D, for HCl, we have 5. And voila, our equation is solved. Let us look into a different example. Before we move into the second example, I'd like you to know that we can always use the last equation to double check whether we are on the right track or not. So for the last equation, we have b equal to 4c. c is given as 1. So if we plug that in back into this equation, we will get b equal to 4, which is exactly what we found in the third equation. So we can say that we are on the right track. Now let's go into the second example.